If you're serious about history, traditional craftsmanship, or even long-term survival, you need to understand the medieval wood kilning technique that never failed. Before we dive into the centuries-old methods, make sure to subscribe to the Global War Archive. This channel is dedicated to uncovering forgotten practices, battle-tested survival strategies, and techniques that shaped entire societies. By the end of this video, you'll not only know how medieval craftsmen preserved wood to last decades, but you'll also understand how you can apply this technique in practical, modern ways. How medieval craftsmen prepared wood to resist decay. In medieval Europe, wood was both a vital building material and a scarce resource in many regions. The failure of a roof beam or a critical support could mean structural collapse, yet centuries of experimentation led to a reliable method of wood preservation: kilning. Kilning is the controlled drying of wood using heat, and medieval kilns were surprisingly sophisticated. Craftsmen built enclosed structures, often dug partially into the ground or framed with stone, where wood could be stacked in a way that allowed heat to circulate evenly. The wood was heated gradually, starting with low smouldering fires at the base, which slowly dried the timber over several days. Too fast, and the wood would crack; too slow, and it would be susceptible to mold or insect infestation. By controlling airflow and fire intensity, medieval artisans ensured that even large beams could be dried without warping. They observed that certain woods, such as oak and ash, responded particularly well to this method, yielding timber that resisted rot for decades, even under constant exposure to the elements. This careful approach to preparation was not just about durability. It also made the wood lighter, stronger, and far less likely to warp, which was crucial when constructing the multi-story halls and fortifications of the time. The secret of this medieval technique was control. Craftsmen didn't simply burn wood to dry it. They maintained a precise temperature range that was high enough to drive out moisture, but low enough to prevent surface charring. Kilning also altered the chemical composition of the wood. Lignin, a natural polymer in timber, would partially carbonize, creating a natural resistance to both water and insects. Essentially, the medieval kiln acted as a natural preservative chamber. Understanding this concept is invaluable for anyone interested in traditional construction or survival scenarios. If you were living off-grid today, replicating a simplified version of a medieval kiln could provide long-lasting beams for shelters, fences, or furniture without the need for modern chemical treatments. You can start small with a simple brick or stone chamber, stacking the wood carefully to allow air and heat to circulate evenly and maintain a slow, steady fire beneath. This is exactly what craftsmen did when preparing wood for everything from longhouses to siege engines. Kilned wood wasn't just for everyday structures, it was central to military technology. Longbows, for instance, required incredibly resilient timber. Craftsmen would kiln the wood for months, sometimes even years, selecting the straightest, strongest pieces and drying them slowly to prevent warping. Even siege towers and battering rams, relied on kilned timber to withstand repeated impacts without splintering. In castles and fortifications, timbers treated in this way often outlasted entire generations of masonry, which really stands as a testament to the effectiveness of the technique. To put this knowledge into practice, the process can be broken down into key stages. First, select your wood carefully. Hardwoods like oak, ash, and elm respond best. Next, stack the timber in a controlled chamber that allows airflow while sheltering it from rain. Start with a small fire at the base, gradually increasing heat over time, while, if possible, monitoring the moisture content. Historical records indicate that seasoned craftsmen would check the wood regularly, adjusting the fire and airflow to prevent cracking. Once fully dried, the wood could be stored for decades, ready for use in construction or crafting. Even modern hobbyists, furniture makers, or survivalists can benefit from this knowledge. Kilning wood. The traditional way allows you to avoid chemical treatments while producing material that is exceptionally stable, resilient, and long-lasting. For anyone looking to build a cabin, craft tools, or simply understand the resourcefulness of medieval societies, mastering this method is both practical and historically fascinating. What makes the medieval kilning method extraordinary is not just its ingenuity, but its reliability across centuries and contexts. Unlike many modern techniques that depend on industrial chemicals or complex machinery, this method relied on observation, patience, and careful control of natural forces. By studying and even replicating it today, we gain insight into how medieval societies solved practical problems and maximized limited resources. For survivalists and historians alike, this knowledge bridges the past and present, offering techniques that can still be applied effectively in modern life. Kilned wood shows us that true innovation is often born from necessity. When you look at surviving medieval structures, you're seeing the legacy of this technique in action. Timbers that resisted centuries of storms, insects, and time itself. Understanding these methods allows us to appreciate not just the craftsmanship, but the practical wisdom that enabled these societies to thrive. Before you go, remember to subscribe to the Global War Archive to continue exploring hidden techniques, forgotten technologies, and survival wisdom from the past. Share this video with anyone who appreciates history and wants to apply ancient knowledge in practical ways. Mastering the medieval wood kilning technique isn't just a lesson in history, it's a tool you can use today, bridging the gap between past ingenuity and modern needs.